Thank you so much, Hope. Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's so good to see you for January's Connect on the Quest Speaker Series opportunity for our St. Louis community. This afternoon, we're joining together for amazing presentations from an array of resources within our community directed to water quality and waste diversion. So thank you all for joining us. As you saw, the meeting is going to be recorded, and we're going to go ahead and get started this afternoon to begin with Kat Golden. So Kat is with this is our Sustainability Education Manager at Missouri Botanical Gardens EarthWays Center. She's going to be sharing with us waste and water program opportunities for our community and resources for our K through 12 schools, including leadership and environmental action plans with the abbreviation of LEAP, as well as the MSD Clean Water Education opportunities, sharing resources for watershed models for our classrooms, storm drain marking projects, and professional development for local area educators. So thank you all once again for joining us, and Kat, the floor is now yours.
Great. Thanks, Tracy. I also want to point out that we have Angelina O'Donnell on the call, who is going to be a great resource for you here for questions. If you have them, you can drop them in the chat and she can get back to them because I have to run as soon as I'm done with this presentation. So Angelina will be here to answer any of your long-term questions. I did put my contact information up on the board, but like Tracy said, I'm the Sustainability Education manager and run a lot of different programs for the EarthWays Center around sustainability. If you're not familiar, EarthWays Center is the sustainability division or department for the Missouri Botanical Gardens. So we take the garden's mission to conserve and preserve, share knowledge about plants and their environment, and really look at sort of those human impacts on what plants need to survive. So clean air, clean water, and clean soil. So obviously, when we're talking about water quality and recycling and waste, all of those have an impact on clean air, water, and soil. So I'm going to go through kind of, I've actually kind of categorized everything by like type. So I'm going to just talk a little bit about the types of programs we offer and how you might be able to use them. So our first one is, of course, waste. So these are probably our most prevalent community programs that we do for St. Louis City, County, and Jefferson County schools. And we have programs for K through 12 audiences, all a wide range of waste-related topics, as well as sort of one-off or long-term programs. So all of our projects or classes really use parts of what we call our 8-step action plan to help students explore the topic. They involve hands-on exploration, really getting in the dirt or waste to try and create solutions, understand the issue, and things. So we have our LEAP on-demand classes. Some of the more popular ones of those include Decomposer Detectives, where we talk a lot about food waste and compost options, specifically that small-scale compost options schools might do or a homeowner might do to help combat food waste. We talk about, we have one called Making Recycled Paper that really talks about like the recycling process through making hands-on recycled paper. We have a landfill model that helps students better understand what happens when things get thrown away or what doesn't happen when things get thrown away. And then we have an ongoing project. So these are our LEAP special projects, which stand for Leadership and Environmental Action Programs. And this typically involves a student group, whether it's a class, a club, or a selected group of students that have been identified to participate. And they go through some of these LEAP on-demand lessons, and they do like a waste audit. So we have supplies to help schools manage through the waste audit process and how it might be adapted during the time of COVID. So they do a waste audit, they identify an issue and create a problem or a solution. So you can see some of the students in this bottom photo in the center there. They're actually having a brainstorming meeting with some administrators to talk about what they discovered during their waste audit and what their school might be able to be, what they might be able to do. We are currently offering virtual programs, and then we are probably able to do in-person come spring. So a little bit after this current COVID surge, we'll be able to do more in-person programming. And we do work with a large different variety of sizes and environments. So we have done like making recycled paper outside, and our trash bag relay is another big popular one, where students get to help sort what's recyclable, what's compostable, and what goes into landfill. We also do tie to energy to talk about a little bit about like how energy works, but also how energy ties to so many different programs. And so we have a free energy efficiency education summer workshop. I should mention also with our waste programming, we do have teacher professional development. So we have what's called the EarthWays Sustainability Network. And that is a year-long mentorship program where our staff work alongside a teacher or up to 4 teachers on really learning how to create a green team, how to tackle waste issues in the school, how to do waste audits. And it comes with a stipend for supplies for waste-related projects and programs. So I want to mention that for our waste category as well. But again, water and waste do tie into energy usage. So trying to create a holistic understanding of how all 3 of them come together to impact one another, I think is important to mention. So we do have programming that deals with energy if that's an interest. And then water. This is our big program that we partner with MSD Project Clear Stormwater to manage for them as part of their outreach to the community. So we manage their Envirscape rental program. We do presentations as well as just drop off and pick up models for your own teaching purposes. Those models are seen here. They're really visual, really hands-on, really help create that connection that our like the actions we take at home has an impact on a larger environmental community. And things like that. And then we have the storm drain marking program, which can happen anywhere in the MSD service territory. And we supply all the materials you need for students to actually do an action project around one of the issues they've learned about through the hands-on model. We do have a virtual video that students can borrow and use, or teachers can use related to the Envirscape presentation, but nothing beats seeing the model up close and personal and getting to see how everything comes together. We drop everything off as long as you're in the MSD service territory and pick it up and provide all of the consumables that you would need to work with that model in your classroom. We also provide 2 teacher workshops a year with stipends on how to use the Envirscape, how to connect it to larger waste or water issues, how to bring other activities in the classroom from the MSD Project Clear's Clean Water Education program. So there's also a 10 activity resource kit guide that just talks about how to explore like the water cycle, how that connects to watersheds, how it connects to stormwater pollution, and solutions that you can do. There is a yard audit school yard audit that students can do that really help them identify potential problem areas for stormwater pollution in their schoolyard. So a lot of different resources available through there. All of this is available on our website, and you can email me at catherine.golden@mobot.org or Angelina to find out more about how to utilize any of these resources. Again, right now through probably I'll say mid-February, just to be safe, we are only booking virtual programming, but open to in-person and things like that come spring and summer. All right, I think that's it for me.
What amazing resources, Kat. Thank you so much. And I can speak firsthand, the sustainability partnership that Missouri Botanical Gardens offers through the EarthWays Center is amazing. So if that's something you're intrigued about or want to develop a little bit more, definitely reach out to Kat for further information. So thank you so much. Our next presenter for this evening, continuing with our water quality and waste diversion theme, is Jenny Wendt. So Jenny is going to share with us regarding plastic waste reduction is the plastic waste reduction campaign manager for the Mississippi River City and Towns Initiative. And she's going to be sharing about the Mississippi River Plastic Pollution Initiative and opportunities for our schools to engage. So Jenny, the floor is now yours. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I think that my little initiative here, big initiative, is perfect because it has to do with solid waste and water quality, both together. I'll go ahead and get started. What you see here, this infographic on the left side, that is the watershed of the Mississippi River. So Mississippi River drains 40% of our country. All the rivers and streams, not all of them, but almost all of them, as long as they're in the county and the state, unless there are combined sewers, everything drains into the Mississippi River to the Gulf of Mexico and out to the ocean. This initiative is the Mississippi River Plastic Pollution Initiative, and we are partnering. I work for MRCTI as the Plastic Waste Reduction Campaign Manager, and we are working with the UN Environment Program and the University of Georgia and supported by National Geographic Society. So we kicked off this initiative a couple years ago when the mayors along the Mississippi River signed on to the Clean Seas Act. It was the first river system in our country or in the world, I think, to make that commitment to reduce plastic waste in the water. So the mayors along, because MRCTI is an association of mayors, there's 101 mayors from the headwaters to the Gulf in the MRCTI. And we made this commitment to reduce plastic waste because those mayors along this Mississippi see so much of it being traveling from the upper Mississippi as it goes down, and as the river ebbs and flows, a lot of it's left in their cities, and it's the quality of place, it's economics, and of course we know it damages our wildlife and of course the ocean. So when we kicked this off in 2020, it was rough because then COVID hit, but it actually worked out really great. We picked 3 pilot cities to engage citizen scientists, the St. Paul, Minnesota, St. Louis, Missouri, and Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And we really wanted to collect data. We really wanted to find out what plastics we're finding in the environment so that we could target what items needed to be reduced. So basically, we used the Marine Debris Tracker app, and I know a few people on this call did use this and have collected. Katie Lotus is on here, and she was amazing with her class already. She has been involved. So we set people out. Here's a map of St. Louis out with the app and a trash bag to collect trash and collect data on what they're finding in the environment. So in St. Louis, this is the map on the Marine Debris Tracker website, which I'll share in the chat here in a minute, that shows what data was collected around the St. Louis region. So as you can see, the top 10 items found, there were about almost 30,000 litter items logged, cigarette butts, beverage bottles, foam fragments, food wrappers, plastic bags, all found in our environment. So we know exactly what we need to tackle. But this is just the start of data collection. We definitely need more and in smaller areas as well. And just so you know, you don't have to be right by the river to collect data and determine what the problem is in our environment, because as you all were saying about the Rainscape program, as litter ends up in our storm drain, and all the streets are angled so that all the water flows into the storm drains, which also picks up all the litter. It gets dumped into our rivers and streams, canals, ends up in the Mississippi River, out the Gulf, and into the ocean. So a lot of people like to think that ocean plastics are not our problem, but they are all of our problem. Example project ideas. There's a major education piece here because people don't understand or don't realize that everything you see on the ground here eventually can make its way to the ocean. Not that the ocean's the only thing to worry about, but that is just something that people recognize more so than litter in the Mississippi River or litter on the street. And you can select an area for a litter study, neighborhood, street, playground, school grounds, anywhere big or small, and collect data. So here's just an example here that data was collected over by Barrett Station Road. Folks went out, collected data, and each one of these circles shows what was collected. Right here, somebody found 5 plastic takeout containers, and then all goes into a database that you can download and get the data and sort by whatever you want. And then once you do that, you can determine what items are the most prevalent, and then what the sources could be around where you found the items, and then what actions can be implemented to reduce and prevent. Trying to rush because I know we're getting close, but I wanted to also focus on it's not just about stormwater, but we need to turn off the tap. So you can see here, like it says here, if you find your bathtub overflowing, do you first get a mop or do you turn off the tap? We need to turn off the tap. So that should be our #1 priority as you collect data and then determining what actions we need, not just capturing it and removing it, but let's start back up and find the source. And that's it for me. I think my time is done, and I will share some things in the chat, and I am very eager to work with whoever wants to work on this initiative. If your kids are little, you can use paper, you can do it on in the playground. There's so many different opportunities for kids big and small, and I would love it if you joined in our plastic pollution initiative. Thank you.
Jenny, that was perfect. Thank you so much. And how profound to realize that our city was one of the top 3 for this initiative and getting going. And hopefully over the course of time, we'll see a strong reduction in the waste that is heading to our oceans and the Gulf. So thank you so much for sharing this evening. Our next presenter for this is Ben Winkler. He is with the school program's waste diversion program with St. Louis County Department of Public Health. He's going to be sharing with us free waste related programs that are available to our schools and located in the St. Louis County region. So thank you, Ben, for joining us, and the floor is now yours.
Hi, thanks for having me. Can everybody see my screen? We good? Awesome. All right, so as you can see at the top of the screen, we are back. So I am with St. Louis County. I work for environmental waste diversion. And what we do is we get to actually go into schools and teach kids all sorts of fun things, from either ocean pollution, Jenny, or we also have, you know, puppet shows about recycling and all sorts of different things. We have been on hiatus because we didn't really get virtual up and going, but now that things are hopefully getting back to normal, we do have some things on the calendar for the spring. So I've been working on this lovely flyer that I'm going to be sharing with you all just to show you what some of the different activities are. So my contact information is actually on this first page. There's my work phone number, and my email is brwinkler@stlouiscountymo.gov. I will share that in the chat as well. We are pretty flexible. One nice thing about the pandemic, if you can say that, is that we were able to take these established programs and activities for kids and find a way to make them work in an outdoor setting. So we did do some summer camps and all of that. So these are free activities for any St. Louis County school. So whether you're a mentor working with a school, or if you are a teacher, or if you know teachers that want to get some fun little dog and pony shows going on to go with any of their bigger lessons or activities, we're a fun little thing to put on the beginning or the end of a lesson. So here are some of the activities that we offer. Our most popular one is a puppet show called How Recycling Changed My Life. This is from K to 3. During the summer at some summer camps, I actually shifted it to be a little younger too, and they loved it. There's a lot of screaming, and the lesson of this puppet show is really just to teach the importance of recycling. It doesn't get into all the details about what, you know, the different number plastics are. It's really just to get kids on board with the idea of recycling. And then we offer, for some older kids, we have Decomposer Detectives. Kat that spoke earlier actually had my position before I did. And so there's a couple repeats on here, but Decomposer Detectives is a lot of fun, and we are finding a way to shift it to be an indoor program, because right now we're only offering it during spring and summer in general. but we do have worm bins. If you see at the bottom of this page, that is a great way to get people excited about composting, and the classrooms can actually have a worm bin inside. So if any of these things look fun, or if any of these are with your grade level, Eek It Leaks is really nice about teaching kids how to work together in a team and also construct. And they learn a bit about landfills. They make a landfill liner, and the idea is to not get the yucky, gross water to break through their bag and pollute the soil. Commotion in the Ocean is ocean plastic, and they learn about buoyancy. So there's a lot of great different opportunities for different kinds of sciences. It's really just what you're interested in. And the nice thing is we have all the supplies, so I'll show up. Most of these don't require a computer. Most of them are just me and a big old backpack of some stuff inside, including puppets. So I don't know how we are on time. I could go on and on and on, but if you are interested in any of these or curious how we can adapt them to your classroom, feel free to contact me. I would love to hear from you. I would say that email is better because I'm doing a lot of things out in COVID fields still. And so I am not necessarily always by my phone, but you are welcome to call me and I will get back to you when I can. So that's that. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Ben. And again, these opportunities for our kids and connecting in this fun, creative way are just great, as you said, bookends for introducing your unit of study that's coming up with your curriculum, wrapping it up at the end, lots and lots of possibilities for our elementary and early childhood kiddos. So thanks, Ben, for sharing that with our participants. All right, so moving into our next presenter, Sam Belair is going to be presenting next on behalf of Brightside St. Louis. She will be sharing recycling resources for our K through 12 schools that are located within the city of St. Louis. So Sam, if you will, the floor is now yours.
Hello, thanks for having me. Again, my name is Samantha and I'm with Brightside St. Louis, or St. Louis City Recycles. My teammate Tila is also here joining us. She's finally able to kind of learn about some of these programs. So I appreciate you including us. So our mission at St. Louis City Recycles is to ensure that every resident here has the tools, knowledge, and resources to recycle responsibly and make that part of their everyday norm. That also includes, students. So that's why we're here. If you are a teacher or a mentor, or you have children at a school in St. Louis city limits, you qualify for our program. And what we kind of do there, I'm going to screen share here and show you. I didn't make a fancy presentation, and I'm definitely not as fun as Ben with my presentation. So I'll just kind of show you the things that we do have available. Our website here, you'll see we can go to recycling at our schools. And this will kind of just give you an overview of what we're going to do, some things that are important. And then our programs that we have, I'm sure we're obviously all familiar with shifting things to virtual now, as we are here. So a lot of our programs have also kind of transitioned into that too. So a lot of the programs you guys have also mentioned, the Envirorscape and the Eeks and Leaks, those are super fun, but we haven't really been able to kind of get in school. Sucks because like the kids are like, I just love learning with them. So we have unfortunately done a lot of our stuff recorded, pre-recorded if you want to distribute it at your leisure as a teacher, as a principal, any kind of community person. We can do a live thing like this where we talk to the students and they're able to ask some questions. Tila and I have worked really hard on just creating a school presentation that really goes over what they can recycle, what they can't recycle, what they want to keep out of the bin, most importantly, and why. Where our things come from. I'm like a super huge nature nerd, so I talk a lot about our resources and where things come from. We don't have a lot of, certain things left. So that's really fun to teach them those kind of things. And then what we have to offer for the schools, we have worked with a lot of SWMD and MDNR for funding to be able to provide recycling bins that are for the classrooms, for the offices, for the admin, and even next to like libraries or copiers and things like that. We can provide up to 30 of those. to distribute throughout your class, throughout your school, I'm sorry. We have 2 recycling roll carts that help make, the transportation from the smaller recycling bins into the dumpster a little bit easier. We also provide posters that go with the blue recycling bins so that everyone's aware of, hey, this is where things are going now. We provide the information to the staff so that when a teacher walks in, they're like, oh, what's this trash can? They know that it's a recycling bin, where it should be placed and what they should be looking for in there. And then for the students that are like really into it, depending on each school is different, I found sometimes students volunteer for a certain recycling program. Others, it's just the teacher makes them do that. So however that works, we provide those students with like a little goodie or an incentive, just to kind of like, hey, great job for being an awesome recycling rock star, and kind of just to show off to their friends, they really care about recycling. And with those kind of things, they'll get a reusable tote bag, which is made of recycled plastic bottles, which is kind of fun. They always like to see those things. There's also a coloring book inside, a pencil. We give them a recycling 101, which again shows what we can and can't recycle. And then we have a small little voucher that they can take home to their guardians that say, hey, we're recycling at school. And it maybe if they don't have one at home, they can make that connection there as well. Just because they have that opportunity at school, we also want to make them that available for their guardians and their families. And just to let everyone know we have these things, they are free, come get them. That also has been some challenges. So the last thing I just want to say is if you have any questions, please let us know. All the way down here. This is our information. You can email us, recycle@stlouis-mo.gov. We're on all the social medias. We've got a newsletter. And yeah, I mean, the only requirement, like I mentioned in the beginning, is that the school is in St. Louis City and that you have a recycling dumpster on site, which is pretty common. It's next to the trash dumpster. So if you have any questions or you need help with walking through anything, just want to talk about recycling at schools, my information is down there. And again, thank you so much for having me included in this presentation.
Thank you so much, Samantha. And again, amazing resources for our kiddos in St. Louis City. Definitely want to get those extensions and opportunities to them to provide for sound recycling practices as they continue across their entire K-12 education experience. So thank you again, Samantha. Our next presenter for this evening is Brianna Robles. She is an AmeriCorps member, and she's also the Water Education Development Coordinator for St. Louis Aquarium Foundation. She's going to be sharing water-related resources for our schools that are available through the St. Louis Aquarium Foundation. So Brianna, the floor is now yours. Thank you.
Awesome. So I hope everyone can see my screen now. Let me share. Where's the button? Okay, so as Tracy said, my name is Brianna and I'm a AmeriCorps member at the St. Louis Aquarium Foundation, which basically just means I'm a full-time technical volunteer for a year's stint, and I'm about halfway done with that. So I had just hit my 6-month mark. So at the end, I'll share my email information, but I also put in the PowerPoint presentation the contact for our education manager, because that's more of a permanent role versus me being very transition. And then, so just a little bit of background about, what the Aquarium Foundation is. So we are a nonprofit partner to the aquarium. So the aquarium at Union Station opened in December of 2019, right before the pandemic. So it was really great timing to get, all of our kiddos there and getting to see all sorts of river animals, ocean animals, and things that maybe they can't see being smack dab in the middle of the US and landlocked. So we're really highlighting our position on the Merrimack River, the Missouri and Mississippi rivers. So the aquarium opened in 2019, and the Aquarium Foundation, the nonprofit arm, opened in 2017. And our mission is to engage the community through providing access and education programs, serving as the region's recognized voice for water stewardship. And from that, we can kind of pull our 3 main pillars, being access to the aquarium, and making sure that's equitable, because the aquarium does have a price tag to it. Like there is an admissions cost. So we want to make sure everyone, no matter their ability to pay, can come to the aquarium. And then another one being education programs. We create a lot of education programs, and I'll go into depth more about that for our schools. And then lastly, water stewardship. And as you can see, like just participating in trash cleanups and things like that, and being a voice for our waterways. And so here are just some pictures. I just thought it'd be easier to just talk through it, and then I'll throw a bunch of links in the chat for you guys to actually get on our website and see what we have to offer for schools. So just first off, we do offer in partnership with the aquarium field trips to the aquarium. So if your schools are able to do in-person field trips, we are, I believe we are still getting those in. Again, not like in huge numbers, obviously with COVID, but if your school has those, doesn't have stringent regulations, like we are open to field trips, and it's pretty dead during the daytime. Not a lot of people come. So that might be a good opportunity to get your kids out of the classroom. And then you can also pair with that an in-person class. And then, so those are two options: in-person field trip and class. And then we also offer a slew of virtual programs. In the fall, we offered the stream, which was like live stream cameras in our two of our habitats. And then we also talked about, the water quality in those habitats and how the habitats were made and why it's important for the animals, and interviewing biologists in those. So those are available on our website. We do offer virtual education programs, the same ones that you would get if you're coming in person, but just a virtual option. And then we also offer like educational worksheets and activities for at-home learning, and special live streams and stuff on our Facebook pages, for example, World Oceans Day and things like that. And then for more information, you can contact Clinton. He's our brand new education manager. He started in December. So definitely shoot him an email, and he can get you in contact with who you need to talk to for whatever inquiries you have. And then we're also in the process of forming a lot of different programs in the spring that have to do specifically with water education, but they're not on our website yet. They're still being formed. And then we're also in the process of revamping our rain garden and hosting some water quality monitoring or workshops, if you will, or online sort of education about water quality monitoring in partnership with the River to Pear Watershed Coalition. So I'm just going to drop some resources in the chat, and my email's at the bottom of that as well. If your school wants to sign up for in-person or virtual education classes, you could definitely do that using that first link. The second link is about our H2O Friends program. But this is something that we have that increases access to the aquarium, like I was talking about before. So if you're a Title I school or you're a nonprofit serving underserved population, you basically become eligible for free admittance to the aquarium and free education classes and stuff, either virtual or in person. So if your school is a Title I school, we definitely recommend that you go to those links, and there should be like a checkbox you can say at the end of your field trip link saying my school is a Title I or underserved school, and you can check that for more information and go through our process to get a free education class or field trip. And then that also works for virtual programs. We can also offer those for free for Title I schools as well. And then the last link on there is just our online resources page. We're in the process of sort of boosting that up as well. But those are the resources we do have, which are great. And then definitely good for like just kids activities and fun things to do in the classroom or at home. And then lastly, that's my email. If you have any other questions, I'm more than happy to help you or find the right person to help you. So I know that was pretty fast. Sorry, I just wanted to keep it nice and short and sweet. But if you have any questions, let me know.
Thank you so much, Brianna. Such amazing resources and this treasure that's now just 2 years new in our St. Louis area. The foundation is providing so much more. So definitely as educators, as mentors as well, check this, all these resources out that are available to us, because we're really opening those doors and windows to our kids who perhaps have never been or will be able to visit the ocean, but seeing this amazing aquatic life and the responsibility of caring for that as well. So thank you again, Brianna, for sharing that with us. Truly appreciate your time this afternoon. And continuing, our next presenter is Katie Lotus. And on behalf of Katie, she is going to be sharing the work from St. Joseph's Academy for their Green Schools Quest project that has recently been completed. For those who are joining us this evening as well, if you haven't heard already, we do provide opportunities for our schools in partnership with mentors and local organizations, monthly Green Schools Quest Challenge opportunities, as well as a 6-month project available to them as well to pursue sustainability initiatives within their school systems. So Katie's going to share the successful work that St. Joseph's Academy has recently completed. And Katie, the floor is now yours.
Excellent. And thank you for, I think I'm going to have to say that I'm not sure how successful we've been this year, but we will go. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like I can share a screen, but I can certainly just talk too. That would be fine.
Just 1 minute, Katie.
Oh, sure. I mean, there's really, don't worry, it's not, the slides are pretty simple. But I am a high school teacher at St. Joseph's Academy. So we're an all-girls school that has about 500 students in it. So we're 9 through 12. And I'm a science teacher, but also moderate the Earth Angels, kind of our environmental club. And I'd have to say most years, I think our act's a little bit more together. But this year, although I thought it would be an easier year, it is not. So here are the things that we have been doing. There we go. I think we're good now. So just wanted to show that, again, this is our school. These are the officers. So I have 5 officers that are doing an amazing job as they try and navigate what we're allowed to do and what we're not allowed to do. So some of our ideas, obviously, we could not do because we can't really have visitors come in right now. And we're a little bit limited on what we can do outside of school. So at the beginning of the year, we had high hopes. And so we hosted, they did allow at the very beginning of the year, groups, 8th graders came on campus. And so we kind of got them involved with making, I guess you'd call it more like guerrilla seed balls. So we used native seeds, and the students that came by that were 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, they just used, we had some mud and some clay mixed together, and we mixed it with native seeds, and then we put them in cups that we had collected throughout the early part of the school year. So, students that maybe went to Starbucks or a Bread Co or somewhere like that, they would give us our cups, we'd wash them out, and then they were ready to go. We're also trying to up our garden, so mostly just native plants. So we're trying for a butterfly garden, and that's because the AP biology course, we use monarch butterflies kind of as our ecology unit. And so we're trying to attract more monarchs and milkweeds in order for us to collect right from school, which would be nice. We also started this picture on the left, we started composting. And so there's a lot of questions about that, as well as recycling, like what can you compost? What can you not compost? So we have had at some of our meetings, guest speakers just Zoom in with us. So we had the folks from St. Louis Composting kind of talk about why composting is important, and then also what can be composted. And then the Earth Angel students were making flyers to encourage the rest of the school to take part in it. Because one of the things, instead of a lot of students eating in the cafeteria to spread them out during lunch, they've been eating outside. So it's a little bit more work for them to compost because the composting bins are in the cafeteria. So the Earth Angels officers and members wanted to encourage folks that it was worth that step to go, take those extra steps to get where you're going. And then at Christmas, it's kind of become a tradition with us, but we bake cookies, and then we do cookie plates for all the folks at school that help us out with our efforts to make school a little bit greener. So mostly that would be like cafeteria workers, our maintenance workers that actually are the ones that have to decide, am I going to sort the 2 bins from recycling, which means I have to go 2 different directions, or am I just going to throw stuff away? So they're pretty important, as well as like our business folks, the people that are involved with composting. And we're trying to also, just as a school community, spread it out. So it's not just one person in charge of trying to make our school a little bit greener. Things that we've tied into is a lot of programs that are already going on out there. And again, this year, I feel like we're kind of not an epic fail. We're doing things, but not quite the level that we would like to. But with the COP conference that was in Glasgow, there was a program where you could commit to a personal action and then also an action that you wanted to see your leaders perform. And so we copied some leaves and sent those off, and those were presented to the organizers of the COP 26 in Glasgow. So that was a way to get students involved. We do Trex recycling, which I'm sure a lot of schools that are on here do that as well. But we learned a long time ago that plastic films are one of the big no-nos in recycling plants. They kind of muck up the drums and the whole system. And so the idea was that we would focus on that to get those out of the cycle. And then trying to get folks outside during December. And as we went into break, we tied into the Bows for Birds Challenge that's hosted by a lot of folks, but mostly the St. Louis Audubon Society. And that runs through February 6th. And then students that participate in that and show us a picture of it, they're in a drawing for a whopping $5 gift card. We have a coffee shop on campus called Cup of Joe, and they can win that. We also kind of on that line, so these are all programs that existed not with us, but we have some native persimmon trees on campus. So students had no idea what persimmons were. So we did like a campus scavenger hunt and gave them a week. Anybody, it didn't have to be in our club, could go out and find pictures of the persimmon trees on campus and take a picture with them. And then we had made persimmon cookies. And so they got a cookie if they found it, and were also entered into a drawing. And then as Ben had mentioned, the recycling and worm composting. So one of the things that's kind of cool that we're starting to see at St. Joe is students are taking what we're doing in Earth Angels and putting it into their classroom activities. So there's a group of students that decided to use that for their science fair project. So they have a really small worm bin that was part of it was a grant. It was a grant that was part of the solid waste production, thanks to Maggie McCoy. She was the one who had run a program with that. And they were looking at things that say they're actually compostable, and are they? So they put paper plates that were compostable and paper plates that weren't. And they're looking at those over the course of a month. And then they're going to go to 8 weeks and then 12 weeks to see how much these things are breaking down. So that was kind of exciting just because it's students outside of the environmental club that are doing something. And things that we hope to do, but we'll see. As Jenny had mentioned, that Mississippi River's Plastic Pollution Initiative, that is really awesome. So if you're even this much thinking that you might want to do it, highly encourage you to do that. Especially if you're involved with, let's say, a math class, because you could take the data from there that either you collected or others, and you could graph it or look at averages. There's just a lot of ways to use real data and just kind of sneak it into the classroom. We're also trying to, a lot of things get thrown away. And so teachers at the beginning of the year and students at the end of the year and beginning, they have all these books and like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do with them. And so we've seen them in trash cans. So we decided to host a school-wide initiative of, hey, you're going to throw a book away or you don't want it, give it to us. Maybe it's an outdated textbook. And then we're taking that money probably to half-price books. And we're doing a deal that a third of the money that we get will go to the department that actually gave it to us. A third of it will go to some local charity or some environmental charity. And then of course, we're going to take a third of it. But anybody who sold books back, no, we're probably not talking big money, but at least we're keeping that out of the trash. And then another club at St. Joe, our global club, is collecting St. Joseph Academy of Clothing. So it's a girls' school. I swear, if it's a Tuesday, there's a t-shirt for it being a Tuesday. And so we're trying to limit how much how many new clothes are purchased, and looking at, they did a whole project on the fashion industry. And again, this is in a different club. And so they've been collecting clothing to sell at super cheap prices so that students might start, using those instead of buying new. We're hosting in April an environmental justice event, but we've kind of done that before. So I feel like we're cheating a little bit. But Dr. Christine Nkenga from Wash U will speak. We've also had Leah Clyburn for the Sierra Club. And then we're working on a few speakers perhaps from USAID. And so we're trying to get them in to kind of help folks realize that this isn't just a tree hugger group, but it's also important just for our fellow human beings. And then we'd like to host a solar event because we do have some solar panels on our roof, but we want to, bring in some folks that can talk to the parents and homeowners and just talk about, the good and the bad about solar energy, but to try and make people think maybe a little bit outside of the box. So probably talk too long. And when I'm looking at the folks on this call, like most of you could tell what you're doing, and you all do some pretty awesome things. But this is just what we're trying to make a little difference right now at St. Joe. So thank you very much, Tracy. And I will get off of here.
Oh, Katie, that was awesome. Such amazing things your school is doing, the Earth Angels are doing. If you don't mind me asking, just as being a teacher, could you speak more to the Bows for Birds program that you were participating in? That was really intriguing.
Sure. And so it's, I'm sure there's others out here that look at this, but the Audubon Society did this last year, and they have, I think it's 12 to 14 different locations throughout the St. Louis area. I think I even left it up so that if people needed to see it, they could. And you just go and you take like there's a little clue about what kind of bird it's going to be. And they have a giant bow that's out there with local birds, like a wooden bird. And then you just take a selfie with that. And that would, trying to find it, here we go. And you can upload that to Instagram. And so it's, if you just put in Bows for Birds, just Google that, and Audubon Society, you can find out more information from it. And it was a chance, again, it goes through February. We're just trying to get our students to get outside. Like they don't, if they have free time, they're watching Netflix, which is not a bad thing. But we want them to get involved more with the environment, and then also just to know a little bit more about St. Louis. I think everybody tends to stay in their area, and we want to make sure that they realize that we're all connected. That's kind of our focus. But great program, and it's a lot of fun. My family did it last year. We've only done a few of them this year.
Very cool. Thank you so much for sharing. And yes, it'd be awesome just for any of our community members to be a part of that program. And it goes through February. So more to come. And thank you so much, Katie, for sharing all the great work St. Joe's is doing.
You're welcome. Thank you all.
All right. Well, everyone, thank you so much for this afternoon. We are now at our closing time, and just questions that you may have had across the presentations. This is the time to ask them or just do a shout out. You can also post them on the chat feature as well. Hopefully we can get those questions answered before we let you go. I also wanted to share that this is evening's presentation was again part of our Connect on the Quest speaker series offered through the Green Schools Quest programs and opportunities in our community. Our next speaker series will be occurring on Tuesday, February 15th from 4:30 to 5:30, and the theme is going to be climate action, building upon our water quality and waste diversion that has occurred this month, as well as our previous sessions. All of the sessions have been recorded in this one as well, and it will be shared with you to all participants via email during the remainder of the week from Hope. So please be sure to check your email boxes for that. I will share the website for connecting with our climate action Connect on the Quest speaker series if that is something you're interested in. I would love to see you back on February 15th. So that wraps up my time. Just shout out now to all of you. If anyone has any questions they're wondering about, feel free to ask at this time.
I just wanted to quickly thank everyone for presenting. These were all amazing resources. Katie, you're doing so much at St. Joe's already this year. And I also want to say that many of our presenters tonight are either current mentors in the Green Schools Quest, Brianna and Ben, or have previously been mentor participants. Jenny and Kat Golden have as well. So thanks for your participation in the program, as well as all the resources you bring to all of the schools.
Definitely. Well, again, thank you all for being with us this evening. We truly appreciate your time of coming together. We look forward to seeing more water quality and waste diversion efforts by your organizations as well as your partnerships. So take care. Have a wonderful rest of your January, and we hope to see you in February.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.